Okay. Mama. Just getting in the Swiftie zone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'll never leave the Swiftie zone.
I'm not in the Swiftie zone.
Never?
You never leave the Swiftie zone? I have to admit, maybe I was getting in the Swiftie zone.
Okay, ready? Welcome to the Swiftie and The Scholar, the podcast where we examine the lyrics, lore, and literary legacy of Taylor Swift. I am Angela McDowell, the Swiftie.
And I am Dr. Jerry Coates, the Scholar.
Hello.
How are you today, Angela?
I'm good. How are you, Uncle Jerry?
I'm swell.
Are you excited to be here?
I'm very excited to be here, yes. I have to admit, I'm excited to talk about this song.
That makes me feel excited because I was worried that we were going to have to argue on this one. Not really. You're allowed to have your own opinion.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good.
Today, before we get into this song, you have asked me a couple of times, why do you like Taylor? Why are you a Swiftie?
The big why, yes.
And that feels like a giant question to me. And so last night I wrote an essay, and today I will be reading that. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank goodness. You escaped.
But I did kind of spend a little time last night. Why am I a Swiftie? Like, what brought me here? Because it's just been a part of my life for so long. And so I thought back, and we have to go back to our MySpace days. Do you remember MySpace?
I do.
I'm sure you didn't have a MySpace.
Do not. It's not just because I'm old. I was an active teacher, dean of liberal arts, and I did start to reach out into social media, and then I got inundated by hundreds of students, and I said, okay, no.
Yeah, we need boundaries.
Yeah, a little space.
Yeah. MySpace was a big thing when I was like a freshman in college. Mm-hmm. That's kind of, I think, when we all signed up and we all had our little pages, and they played, you could have a song on your MySpace page. Mm-hmm. So this was like 2005, 2006. And one of my friends had a song by some girl, like she sounded so young, but named Taylor Swift on her MySpace profile. And the song was called Tim McGraw. And it somehow just instantly hooked me. I was like, who is this? Where has she come from? And so at this point, Taylor had one album out. Her first single was called Tim McGraw. When you think Tim McGraw, I hope you think of me.
Okay, yes. From now on. Yeah. And,
she kind of just hooked me then. And she was, this like 16-year-old girl. I think I was 19 at the time. And she was a country singer, and I was, I came from small town Texas and went to school in a little bit bigger small town Texas. And we were country music fans, and there was no one else in country music at this time. There was no one her age. There was no one writing songs like she was writing them. And she also just seemed like this like normal teen girl that like at any moment you could like become her best friend. Like, she was just a normal girl. She also was posting on her MySpace all the time at this time. She had kind of like a grassroots, like, I have a new song, but like I'm still just a high school girl talking about like boys on my MySpace, And I don't know that she knew it at the time. If she did, she's smarter than any of us have ever given her credit for. But she kind of, she was so like available, and she was online, and she would reply to your comments, and she posted like she was on tour, and she would post like tour vlogs on YouTube, just like behind the scenes, showing her hanging out in all these places with her band and like traveling the world. And she was just very available in ways that no one else seemed to be. You also, like...
You could have given me a call or something.
She also just was... you could meet her very easily. So, in the summer of 2008, like probably like a year and a half after I had discovered her, she was coming to town opening for Rascal Flatts. She was coming to Dallas. And it was at Fair Park.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's called something different than now.
I've actually seen Rascal Flatts, so...
At Dos Equis at Fair Park?
No.
Oh, okay, I was like, we were there at the same time.
Oh, no.
So I went to see her open. You know, she had one album. She played probably 4 or 5 songs. I was with my friend Cindy, and she was done. I only sort of cared about Rascal Flatts, and I was like, I think we have to go find her. And Cindy was like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, no, I think we can. Like, I see people online always posting pictures of posing with Taylor, and I was like, we can find her. So we it's an outdoor venue, and so we like walked around the outside to where we could see like some tour buses, and I like saw a couple members of her band, 2 of whom are still in her band to this day, and we like talked to them for a second, and then a guy came out and said, okay, she was in her tour bus that was like right next to us, and they said, if you like are quiet and chill and just like give her a minute, she's in there like meeting with family that's in town, she'll come out and take pictures with everyone. So I have met Taylor.
Oh, you really have?
Yeah, let me find the picture. I'll show you, and then I'll put it up on the screen for everyone else. The way that she made herself so available and seem like we were all just like friends, like, is what created this like parasocial army of what would later become known as Swifties. And how she has all of these fans that are like ride or die to this day.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
And then like, you know, there was only one album to pour over at that time. And so there's only like 12 songs or something, or 13 maybe. And so you're scouring the internet, and there was like unreleased songs that I would listen to terrible quality, like, you know, unreleased demos. And then there was like a video of her playing this song in her tour bus for just a couple of fans. And it was a song called Fearless, and it was this terrible quality, and I loved it so much. I listened to it all the time. And then a few months later, she announced that her second album was coming out, and it would be called Fearless. And so it was just very fun. She also put her first, I think, 5 albums, her in the liner notes of the CD. It would have all the lyrics in it, you know, like song by song, and then they were all in lowercase, but there would be random capitalized letters throughout, and there was like a secret message for every song.
Ooh. Secret messages.
And yeah, so it would be like, you know, who this song was about, or like maybe there would be a name in there, or like something that like a place or something. And so it was her being like, I'm gonna tell you more about who these songs are about, or what these songs were about. And so it was just kind of pulling you in a way that again, no one else was doing at that time. And she was kind of, I mean, that's just how she got me, and I've stuck around this whole time.
And how long has that been?
Like 19 years.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly half my life. Yeah.
Wow.
So my whole adult life, me and Taylor have been besties.
Well, yeah. Actually, I mean, that makes sense to me because, you know, when you meet someone, there's a personal connection.
Yeah.
And yes, I've met some singers before, and yeah, I form a personal connection. Yeah. I mean, you know, my wife and I went to London a year and a half ago just to meet a couple of performers we like.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a personal connection.
Yeah. And I don't know why I'm still here, but I'm having a great time with it. So.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's just always been little things that she does like that I think add to like her genius of creating people that will do whatever she says, basically. You know,
okay.
It's a problem. It's a little culty, but it's not harmful, so we were fine with it.
Yeah.
There is this podcast called oh my gosh, I can't think of what it's called right now, but it's like Am I in a Cult or something like that, and they talk about all these different groups, and at the end the hosts decide like, is this culty? And if so, is it harmful or not? And they actually did do one on Swifties, and they did decide that it was a cult, but it's like fine. Like, it's not a harmful cult. It's not a one that you should try to get out of. So I'm sticking around.
Okay, well, so there's a possibility I could become like infected. And, all right.
Be pretty close to it now. So.
Okay.
All right. So there we go.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I told Angela earlier, she lent me this album, not to listen to, but for inspiration, and it sat on my desk, and Taylor Swift has been staring at me all week, and I find her vaguely frightening. So I don't know if I'm joining the cult yet or not, but...
So you're at the scared point of joining the cult?
A little bit, yeah.
The terror part?
Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, today we're going to get into Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Okay.
This song is from the Tortured Poets Department, which came out last year, exactly a week before my wedding, which felt like a really nice present for me personally.
Oh, it was because of your personal connection.
See, that's what she does. She does such nice things for us. She said, here's a wedding present, Angela. Here's 31 new songs.
All right.
So this song was self-written by Taylor Swift. We actually do have the demo version of this that she sent over to Jack Antonoff, who we have talked about and who produced this album, or this song. We do have the demo version. She released that, and I do have a little blurb of what she had to say about this song as well.
Oh, okay.
But I think we'll go through that later. This song also, so she put out this album in the middle of the Eras tour, which was already, each show was like 3 hours and 15 minutes or something. And for the European dates, halfway through the tour, after this album came out, she added a Tortured Poets set to the Eras tour. So this song did make the cut. So we do have some Eras tour performance of this song as well.
Okay.
If that's interesting.
Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay, so first I have my confession.
Yes, please.
So Angela sends me, one or two of these poems, these songs a week, and I take 2 days or so. I read through them, I think about them, I analyze them as a literary critic might, or I do kind of a historic analysis of it sometimes. What I don't do is I don't look up anything. I just use my own personal resources in thinking about them. And I complained to Angela when she sent me this one that it just felt like a superstar whining. And I set it aside for a few days. And when I came back to it, I realized that I had given way to my, masculine dominant culture and was not reading it as a literary critic should or might. And now I find it absolutely fascinating. So I'm just going to say...
We love that.
Yeah, I've done a huge turnaround on the song after I started really thinking about it. Okay, so the title of the album is Tortured Poets Department.
Yes.
There are a lot of tortured poets.
Yes.
When I saw the title, I immediately, names started filling my head. Sylvia Plath, very unfortunately and sadly put her head in an oven and killed herself. Some poets are tortured by themselves, by others, by culture. Allen Ginsberg, one of my favorite poets, wrote a great poem titled Howl, which is his sort of complaint against the world. And Ginsberg was hospitalized, treated for his insanity. He was also bi and ultimately expressed being gay and a little bit tortured for that.
Okay.
There have been a lot of tortured poets. I did pull up a picture of one in particular that's kind of dramatic I really like. So Thomas Chatterton was a late 18th century poet and really wanted to be friends of other poets, wanted to be famous, and so he wrote some poetry and claimed that he found medieval manuscripts. And so he became noted for the guy who found the medieval manuscripts. And then it turned out that he actually had written the poetry. Yeah.
A scammer.
Scammer. So he took laudanum and died. And there's a very famous painting of him, and this is the painting of him. So you can look up Thomas Chatterton, and here he is, dead, reclining on his couch. Very sad stuff.
Who painted that?
Oh, I should know that. One of the pre-Raphaelites, Henry. I can't remember.
Okay, we'll figure it out when I find the links.
There you go. So there are a lot of tortured poets. Dylan Thomas nearly drank himself to death.
Quick note on Dylan Thomas.
Okay.
This album, The Tortured Poets Department, has a song titled The Tortured Poets Department. And she says in that song, "You're not Dylan Thomas. I'm not Patti Smith.
Okay. Very
This
interesting
ain't the Chelsea
stuff.
Hotel."
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, Dylan Thomas is great.
I was like crossing my fingers that you would mention one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, he's got that. I mean, Dylan Thomas wrote a ton of great stuff, but, maybe the most famous is "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night," Rage Against the Dying of the Light.
Yeah.
And when I went to San Francisco, I went to the City Lights bookstore, owned by Lawrence Ferlinghetti, one of the beat poets, and I went across the street to the bar where he and Dylan Thomas and Jack Kerouac used to sit around and drink Bohemian Coffee. So I ordered a Bohemian Coffee and channeled Dylan Thomas.
What's a Bohemian Coffee?
It's coffee with amaretto and cream and I think bourbon, but I'm not sure.
That sounds delightful.
I had two of them, and it was pretty dizzy when I walked out. So, okay, so there are a lot of tortured poets. I think that she's prefiguring herself as one of them. Certainly, she seems tortured in this particular poem.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I initially didn't care for it is, just the claimant of being tortured is a little bit difficult. Oh, I'm so rich and famous, I'm tortured.
Right.
But as I got into it, I started reading it more as a feminist critic and trying to understand her confessionalist style. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
there are so many notes on this page.
Yes, I run my copy and I write notes, and so yes, I've got a lot of notes. So she's tortured. She's underscoring the idea that writers often suffer, right? Especially good writers, are worried about writing well. I'll never forget, I attended a lecture by Kurt Vonnegut Jr., who wrote Slaughterhouse-Five, Cat's Cradle. I'm a huge fan of Kurt Vonnegut. Unfortunately, he's dead. Yeah. But I still like reading his books. And he said something really interesting once. He was asked a question in the Q&A, how do you become a great writer today? And he broke into writing writing in serial magazines. So he would send in short stories to magazines.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, people can't do that any longer.
Yeah. No, not really.
He suggested one way is not to be an English major. Right, because he got his degree in chemical engineering, I think, from University of Chicago. And he said if you're an English major, you're so inundated with all these great writers that you're unable to express your own greatness. You're unable to find your own voice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so you're tortured. Yeah. To me, that's...
Like, I'm not good. I'll never be as good as these people. Right, I'm not a real writer.
I'll never be a Shakespeare. I'll never be a Keats, you know. So, yeah, I think that's really an interesting perspective. Okay, the title of the song, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? Immediately I thought of Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, kind of a cliche. Might put it in the genre of folk tales and folklore.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And there are some of that, some imagery with witches involved. I also thought of the play by Edward Albee, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Yeah, that's where my brain went, but I don't even know what goes on in that play. But I know that title,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very famous version of it with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, I think. Yeah.
There's another song where she compares herself to Elizabeth Taylor.
So many connections.
The Burton to this Taylor, she says.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that's why you're the Swiftie. Okay, so I also have to admit that I am very interested as a pop culturalist.
Yes.
In fan fiction.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you know Snoweylily. So Snoweylily is a fan fiction writer, and one of the things she's written is a Harry Potter fan fiction work, and the title is Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Oh, okay.
Right. So I wondered if Taylor Swift knew anything about Snoweylily, and if she knew, or if she was a Harry Potter fan, and if there was a connection.
Yeah, I mean, she's a millennial. She's a Harry Potter fan, you know.
Of course.
That was our whole personality for a while.
It's true. Everyone had to have a wand or something.
Yeah.
There may be one on my shelf.
We know what
behind us.
house we're in.
That's right.
You know.
Yes. I'm not a Gryffindor. I mean, any house that has Ron Weasley in it.
Ouch.
And okay, verse 1.
Yes.
The Who's Who, of course, referencing any Who's Who list, right? Of who's that is poised for the attack. So you immediately get this tension, this sense of threat. I also like the internal rhyme between that and attack. Right?
Okay,
The assonance, the A sounds, kind of unifies the line. It's nice stuff. If this, as a poet, I would say she's doing a nice job. But my bare hands pave their paths. You don't get to tell me about sad. So I thought she was being a little petulant with the last line.
For
You don't
sure.
get to tell me about sad.
Yeah.
But I did like with my bare hands, because when I read it several times, I realized bare hands links with the animal imagery that we see later.
Oh.
Right. So,
okay.
So I do like the unity in the poem. I'm going to say right off.
Okay.
She talks about a circus, and then she talks about animals or being an animal. Snarling. And so the bare hands works with that.
Okay.
Animals have only their bodies as their weapons. So I really like that. It unifies the poem from the very beginning.
Can we talk about the who's who of who's that?
Oh, sure.
This feels so Taylor to me, this little weird figure of speech that she's doing, because like the who's who is like, okay, so you're the elite, you're the cream of the crop, the who's who, but of who's that is like, so you're the cream of the crop of people that we don't even know who you are.
Right. Of what?
So you're the best of the nobodies. And so I don't know specifically who she's talking about right here, if this is like about fans or media or society or the music industry. I don't know. But I love that.
Right.
That who's who of who's that. Like, what an insane thing to write down.
Yeah, it's an interesting, subtle attack on someone who's going to attack her. Right. Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, if you wanted me dead, you should have said. Again, we go to the internal rhyme that's around the comma, caesura.
Yes, we love the caesuras.
We do. She does. Nothing makes me feel more alive. So there are no threats that dissuade her from her work, right?
Yeah.
And then we go to the chorus. And we get... I love the word leap. I think it's a really well-chosen insertion into the line, because so I leap from the gallows. So she's jumping down, but leap has that animal imagery again.
Okay, yes.
Right. So she's anxious to get down from the gallows, but also anxious in an animalistic way. I levitate down your street. Okay, so she's a witch.
Yes.
She's a wraith.
Yes.
Right, so she's some kind of undead. She's some kind of ghost, some kind of other. And you crash the party like a record scratch as I scream. I love the record scratch. It's irritating, right? If you've got an LP that's scratched, it's always irritating when you get across that. If it's scratched, it doesn't work. Goes well with scream. It's discordant, right? A scratch brings discordance to the album, which does beg the question. Here's your interesting trivia question for the week.
Yes.
On average, on an LP album, how many grooves are on one side of an average LP album? How many grooves?
Wouldn't it just be one groove?
That's very good.
Like it's continuous, right?
The answer is one groove.
Oh man, I'm a genius.
Yeah,
you can't stump me.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Usually people say, "Oh," but yeah, there's one groove. If there were more grooves, then you couldn't actually.
It wouldn't keep going.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about the moment that I heard this line. Okay. So I leap from the gallows and I levitate down your street. Part of what we were talking about earlier, being a Swiftie, part of that for me is the album releases are like a holiday.
Okay.
So in Central Time, where we live, the albums come out at 11 p.m. because they come out 12 o'clock, midnight on the East Coast. So we get them at 11 p.m.
Wait, let me write that down.
Yeah. And this is like appointment listening for me. I end up staying up all night and having to go to work the next day. It's not great.
It's a cult.
Yes. And so when this one came out, I was watching on our TV on Apple Music because I need to listen with lyrics because the lyrics are what I care about. And so I have the lyrics up. Usually you can get them on Apple Music or Spotify pretty quickly. And so it's 11 p.m. I start pretty quickly going through the album in order. And so I'm laying in bed for Tortured Poets because I'm old now and I'm tired. So I think Chase made it through approximately 4 songs before he fell asleep. So I'm just alone watching on the TV as the lyrics scroll by. Mm-hmm. And so I leap from the gallows and I levitate down your street. I still remember exactly me picturing, I'm picturing Salem witch trials. Mm-hmm. She's in gallows and she's like, I swear I'm not a witch, but they're gonna kill me anyway. And she's like, actually, I am a witch. And she just somehow jumps out of these gallows and is just floating down a street.
Right.
And I picture that every time still that I listen to this song, and I just find it I just think it's so good. And I think that's probably a pretty common take to have, that this just feels so Taylor, this song. Mm-hmm. It feels like nobody else could have written this song except and nobody should try to, it just feels very Taylor to me, and it gets me very excited. So when you first were like, I'm not feeling it, I was like, mm-hmm. Oh dear God, this podcast is going to be a disaster. But
no, page 2 has even more.
Oh my gosh, so much writing.
I know.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. I just love that line so much and that visual that she gives us.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I really like it too.
Okay,
right?
great.
I like the image. The imagery is terrific. Again, she's consistent with it throughout the song. I think it's lovely work, and I really want to talk about being a witch.
Okay.
Maybe at the end, because we have a lot more of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So she screams. Again, screaming would be concordant with being a witch, being a banshee, being some kind of wraith. And then she asks the question, who's afraid of little old me? You should be.
Yeah.
Right? So she's unabashedly vengeful. It's like she embraces being witch. Like you said, she said, well, screw it.
Yeah, I am a witch.
I am a witch. Here it comes. And then she goes into the verse and she talks about a scandal being contained. Well, I have to admit, I wanted to connect that to some event in her life, but I don't like biographical criticism.
Okay.
I'm trying to work just inside the poem itself, right?
Okay.
So I don't know what scandal it is. I don't know enough or to speculate about her life. The bullet had just grazed her, so there was some kind of scandal that they managed to sidestep. Mm-hmm. And at all costs, she kept her good name. Well, good name is kind of cliche. What I like is the use of the word costs, at all costs, right? So you think about cost as being cost to her reputation, but also cost has a monetary feel to it. In other words, she's being handled, she's being driven by, a record company, executive, someone, a manager, and their bottom line isn't her welfare, it's money in the bank.
Actual money, yes.
Right. So because of the costs, you have to protect her good name. You don't get to tell me you feel bad. They don't care about her.
Yeah.
I mean, what they care about is the cost, right? So, yeah, I liked it. Again, nice unity in the verse. Is it a wonder I broke? Okay, so, there are two meanings to break. One of them can mean I was broken, right? Back to being tortured.
Yes.
But the other one is to break away, to break and run.
Okay.
Right? Is there any reason why I broke from this cutesy norm you want to put me into, and I embraced full witchy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I love that because she's and is it a wonder I broke from those gallows and levitated away.
And she says, let's hear one more joke. So broken joke. Again, she's consistent as a poet because she's got this internal rhyme thing going, right from the very first verse with that attack, and so here we are with broken joke, nice work. Does she go crazy? Does she break from social norms? Which is something I really want to talk about.
Social norms, or is she just breaking from what society is wanting specifically from her?
Right.
Her being this like perfect. So what it all keeps coming back to what I was saying earlier about why I became a Swiftie. When she was that young girl, she was very much. She has the cleanest image. There's no cussing. There's no like scandalous clothing. She's very covered up. She's very innocent in those. I would say her first like 3 or 4 albums, like it's all very much like I'm the good girl, she's the good girl. And as she grew up, which we see a lot from female stars across industries, as you grow up, the public doesn't want to let you grow up and become more adult in the things that you're talking about and making art about. And so I think it just all kind of, it is like, I think breaking from what even like her fans like want from her as well.
Sorry, you just made me remember Madonna and her pointy bra. And
yeah.
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 Okay, so then we could all just laugh until I cry. So we, they use the corporate pronoun, the plural pronoun, but then she says till I cry. So, it's just a joke, but things said in jest really do hurt. And I wondered if this is one of the reasons why it's relevant to her fans in particular. I think we've all experienced that, though, those moments when someone says something that they say, oh, it was just a joke, but it wasn't.
Yeah, you're not joking.
Or even if it was a joke.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You still hurt me a great deal.
Right.
So, again, like the line. Then we have the chorus. So we go back to the gallows, back to levitating, back to the scratching and the screaming. And then she says, I was tame, I was gentle till the circus life made me mean. So, again, we reintroduce that idea of animal imagery. A circus life made her mean. So she's been caged and abused. She's not running free like an animal would in the wild. Instead, she's like a tiger on display in a small cage, a tiger being forced to perform, an animal who hears the crack of a whip in a circus environment. And I really, when I read the line, I thought about that cracking whip.
Interesting. Right? Yeah.
So, I was nice until you did this to me. Thanks. And I think that this really is, again, another one of those really interesting moments where she draws her fans in or draws a reader in. So I shouldn't put it in fan terms. I think she's talking about herself and her professional life. But I think that she's also talking about all women.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think that all women can be tame until they get dropped into these cultural norms, or they get pigeonholed, or they get 20% less than men.
Yeah.
Or they take a shirt to the dry cleaner and they're charged 80 cents more because it's a blouse and not a shirt.
Not a shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I think that can turn a person mean.
Yeah. Yeah, this all feels very, like, with the witchy imagery, like, witchy imagery always feels like a substitute, like an allegory for all women.
So I can't let it go without saying that I love the metaphor of the circus. So metaphor, a comparison between two different things that's simply stated, life is a circus. But when you extend a metaphor throughout a work, that's called conceit.
Okay,
so what she's done is she's introduced a metaphor of the circus, and then she extends it throughout the work, so it becomes a conceit. And I think it works really well, because if you think about what a circus is entertainment. All right, so yes, she's in the entertainment
that's her
business.
Whole world, yeah.
That's what she does. But a circus is also a kind of chaos. I mean, you see a tiny car drive out and then a dozen clowns get out of it. There's a huge parade and all kinds of crazy things are happening. There are trapeze artists and it looks like they're going to fall, and the last second they're caught. When someone says, well, that was a real circus, what they means is it was a real mess.
A disaster,
It was chaos.
Yeah.
It was a disaster, yeah. So I like it because on one hand you get the entertainment image, but then on the other hand you get the chaotic image. So again, nice work, Taylor. And so the ringmaster says, "Don't worry, folks. We took out all her teeth."
Yes. I love this line. I can't wait for you to hear how she sings this line.
Yeah, it is so cruel.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's abusive.
Yeah.
And so is that what we do to women in our culture? Is that abusive? Is that what's been done to her? Is that abusive? That animal abuse has turned into real abuse for her. Okay.
Yeah.
And then she trails off following up on the line, "Who's afraid of little old me? Well, you should be." And then trails out repeating, "You should be." So tell me everything is not about me. But what if it is? They say don't do it to hurt me, but what if they did? Right? So she's reiterating that idea as, it was just a joke. It still sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so tell me everything is not about me is so interesting to me, because since this song came out, in the year and a couple of months since it came out, I have seen. So I'm on Swiftie Twitter. I know it's not called Twitter anymore, but
who's not?
Right, I know. So, but I feel like the Swifties who are tweeting about Taylor are always using this, because there will be some other artist released an album, and then their fans somehow are like, Taylor wishes, or like Taylor would never, or Taylor could never, or whatever. And all these other, so speaking from the fandom world, all these other fandoms are always comparing themselves to Taylor's world. And everybody, I've seen it probably 50 times. Like, something will happen, and then someone will, a Swiftie on Twitter will reply, "So tell me everything is not about me." Because it's like, everyone does make everything about her in this like pop music world, and that it's like, just go be your fan of whoever you're a fan of, and like stop, like leave it alone. And it's like this weird comparison, and it is of course always women. Women doing it, women artists that they're talking about,
right?
And so it's like the same thing you're talking about. Like, we have to compare, and we have to say, like, this person is doing this woman is doing it better than this woman, so this woman is bad, or like,
right?
It just always comes back to how we treat women,
right? Yes. And I really. Again, that's going to be a summative remark.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yes.
Okay. So, I want to snarl, snarl like an animal, more animalistic imagery, more circus connections. to show just how disturbed this has made me. So she's not in charge of her own world, right? This has made me. So everything acts upon her. And you see the word disturbed. Again, we're back to the tortured. But so there's a lot of unity that rolls through this. You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me. Okay, so she matured in her craft, but in a crazy environment, right? So we're back to that circus, that chaotic image of what a circus can be. It's an asylum. She's in a crazy house. You know, maybe she's not crazy, but somehow or another, craziness has entered into the picture.
Yeah, I love this line. When I first heard it, you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me. For me, the asylum was the music industry. But I think it's probably broader than that. I think it's probably, like, as time has gone on, I'm like, oh, this is like, you know, the entertainment industry. This is the public eye. This is... Again, I think we can take it even further and be like, just being a woman in this world.
Right. It is a cultural asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And that, again, is what drew me into the poem finally.
Yeah, you had to get to the bridge.
I did.
Because she loves a bridge,
loves a
and
bridge.
we do love the bridges.
So, all you kids can sneak into my house with all the cobwebs. Back to the witch imagery, back to the idea that kids love to, you know, it's like in To Kill a Mockingbird when Scout and her brother want to go see Boo Radley.
Yeah.
You know, you want to sneak into that. And I'm telling you, there was an abandoned house near my neighborhood. I did the same thing. So people want to peer into her life. And there are cobwebs hanging there. You know, not just witch images, but things that that bind together this ghoulish imagery.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always drunk on my own tears. Isn't that what they all said? So does she get to characterize herself? No, other people characterize her.
And people love to say that she loves to play the victim.
Well,
She's drunk on her own tears.
Yeah, you know, my first reading was that, and then I began to read a little bit more and thought, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think, I have a lot of trouble with that because I feel like these songs that she's writing, the song that she's written through her whole career, I feel like she's writing them in the moment when she is feeling the most.
Just what she's feeling.
The most, you know, no matter what else happens outside of her, this thing happened and I'm feeling this and I'm writing it down. And that, I think, helps her process. I think that helps her move on. I think that helps her not be the victim. But then she releases these songs, you know, like 2 years later or something. And then people are like, God, won't she get over it? You know, like, can't she move on? Doesn't she ever get over anything? And it's like, well, I think she has. Well, I think we could argue some of those she hasn't, but which, like, relatable, the same.
Right.
I've never gotten over anything either, you know. But I do kind of feel like it's a little unfair because I think that the music is the way that she doesn't feel like the victim, because I feel like she's processing through it and that's how she's healing. But then she releases it and then it's like, okay, well, here it is all back again, you know.
Okay, so I got one more thing for
Okay.
the cobwebs in the house.
Yes.
Another reason why I like it is because the kids, you know, those who peer at her life from the outside, those who want to sneak in and see what it's really like, really what they're doing is they're looking at, I mean, if the house is her life, then the cobwebs are all those old tales of her past life.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they're looking at the dusty backstory of her existence. Which, you know, forgive us, Taylor, because I think some of what we're doing right now is...
Yes, we are the kids in the cobwebs.
We are. We're peering into the dusty backstory of her life. And really, is that her music? You know, or can we just leave her alone and let her enjoy those memories and move on with the song?
Yeah.
And then she's litigious, you know.
Yeah.
They say, I'll sue you if you step on my lawn. right? So, shaking her fist at the kids. But she doesn't do that. I mean, it's another one of those stories people tell about
Right.
her. Okay. I'm fearsome. I'm wretched. I'm wrong. Put narcotics into all my songs.
It's very silly.
No, but I mean, people have always said that about pop music.
Yeah.
They have always made the claim that it's bad for our youth. There were ministers in the 50s who said rock and roll would drive you to the devil.
Yeah, Satanic Panic. That was
Right.
probably about rock music, right? A
Oh,
little bit.
Yeah. And is that why you're still singing along?
I mean,
Okay, so that's wonderfully ironic.
yes.
Right? So is it because I've got you hooked now? Or is it because maybe it's just good music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's a little of both.
I was going to say that. Yeah. Is there an Alcoholics Anonymous? Or
Swifties Anonymous.
yeah, maybe. Okay. Last chorus.
Yes.
And it's we've heard this before, right? So I leap from the gallows, levitate down the street, crash the party, scratching, screaming. Who's afraid of me? I was tame, right? Gentle till the circus and life made me otherwise. She's had her teeth pulled. You should be afraid of me.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's interesting to me because don't you worry, folks, we took out all of her teeth. So that means like she has no bite, she has no edge, she can't talk back, she can't, But then she's like, well, you should be.
Right. Yeah.
So she immediately
She still has a little bite left.
counteracts that.
And the otro, the other, comes in and says, you lured me. Because you lured me, you should be afraid. You hurt me, you should be afraid. You taught me. So again, all this is in the record industry. Maybe it's in culture. Maybe it's in her life. You caged me back to the animals. You called me crazy. What do I do? Is a witch crazy? I am what I am, which is, of course, something Popeye says. I am what I am, and that's all what I am. That's called Popeye-alian philosophy. I buy into it.
Oh my gosh.
Because you trained me. So who's afraid of me? Who's afraid of me? Who's afraid of me? Okay.
Are you afraid of her?
Well, this week with her staring at me from her album cover, I was a little bit afraid.
Yeah.
But maybe I was forced into liking the song.
That's why I left the record here.
Thank you. Okay, so I do want to talk holistically about the song.
Okay.
And what really drew me into it.
Okay.
So in literature, there are a number of different ways of reading. Okay, so there's reader response, new criticism, new historicism. I tend to be a new historical reading, who looks at culture and wants to see how culture, the cultural milieu impacted how a literary work was formed.
Okay, yeah.
There's queer theory, feminist theory. One of the things you might think about as a branch of feminist theory is monstrous femininity.
Okay.
Okay, so when I was reading through this, I did think of monster theory and monstrous femininity.
Okay.
Okay, so what is that?
Yeah, please.
It's the idea that females are characterized as monstrous.
Okay.
Okay, if you think about literature in a broad sense, you think about classical literature where you see the image of Medusa, right? She's this horrible creature with snakes for hair, and can turn people into stone. If you read the Odyssey, come on, folks, tell me you read the Odyssey. Odysseus is on his way home. The monsters he meets are women.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Circe seduces, drugs him, keeps him for nearly 10 years. He has to sail by giant monsters, Scylla and Charybdis. They're both women. They're both
Interesting,
female. You think about the Sphinx, the Lamia, all kinds of different monsters in culture are female. If you ever read Beowulf, please, someone out there read Beowulf. The female characters are not they don't fulfill great roles. Wealthio is a serving girl who wears a lot of jewelry to show off her master's wealth and brings him beer. Onella's queen is good in bed. She's sexually good. And then Grendel's mother is the great monster of the story. And we don't even know her name. Right? She doesn't even have a name. She's effaced from the story in terms of her personality, but she's this horrible, devouring creature.
Okay, yeah.
So, in Anglo-Saxon culture, you get three choices. You can be a beer maid, you can be good in bed, or you can be a devouring monster. And,
I choose devouring monster.
See, I'm kind of with Taylor Swift. If I were in those roles, I would choose the devouring monster.
Yeah.
So make me a monstrous feminine.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the list of these of the monstrous feminine is the witch. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, people, literature, culture has demonstrated witches as deviant, frequently cultural deviant, but also sexually deviant. They often look like men. In the story of Rapunzel, for example, she captures a young woman, puts her in a tower, this giant cylindrical thing that's clearly a phallic image.
Interesting.
Right? It only has one hole right at the tip.
Interesting.
Do I need to draw you a picture?
No, thank you.
That,
I'm okay.
Okay.
I got it right here.
Yeah, here we've got a witch capturing a young girl in this giant penis, and
interesting.
Witches are demonstrate masculinity, or at the very least, deviant female sexuality. They're what do they ride?
Oh, broom, which is also
they stick it between their legs,
kind of phallic.
Yeah. So, so if witches have been demonized, and there are a lot of great books you can read on the history of witchcraft, especially its rise in post-Reformation Europe, and how it transitions over into America. Were any of the witches who were hanged for were any of the women who were hanged for witchcraft in Salem witches? I don't know if they practiced witchcraft or not, but practitioners of witchcraft has often been seen as evil and socially deviant. Many of them were healers. Okay, many of them simply understood herbs or medicine,
right?
In a way that others did not, and because they did, people saw them as magical practitioners.
Interesting, yeah.
Right, so that happens a great deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you think about witches in modern culture, I think that with the rise of feminist culture, the role of the witch has changed, or the image of the witch has changed.
Yeah, I think so.
And I just noticed you have a moon and a star for a ring.
I do.
Oh, scary.
Witchy.
So think about a modern witch, right? You've got Bewitched. She's fun. Okay, right? She's fun. She's
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Have you ever seen Charmed?
Yeah, I love Charmed, yeah.
Okay, so you have three witches who work in concordance one with another. So they create culture and unity and a household. And what's even more interesting for Charmed is they're powerful. Okay, so now witches demonstrate a level of feminine power. Think about the penultimate. How about Wicked?
Very relevant right now.
Right. Is she wicked?
No.
No.
They made her. They perceived her as wicked.
They perceived her as wicked in their cultural, ambiance. They made her wicked, right? But and so when I read this, my understanding of it expanded around the notion of monstrous femininity and expanded around the role of women in our culture. And I think I pushed the meaning of the poem beyond the life of Taylor Swift and her own personal house and cobwebs to the lives of women and women's houses and cobwebs and witchery.
Yeah.
So, I have to say that I fell into that trap of my toxic masculinity the first time I read it, and I thought, oh, gee, no.
Why am I doing this?
Right.
But an interesting addition to that is that they have done that this woman is witchy and evil to Taylor.
Oh, really?
Like recently. So she has a song on Evermore called Willow. And it's a little bit like witchy, like we're meeting in the woods, you know. But then at the Eras tour, which I know I keep talking about, but there's a lot to pull from the Eras tour. The way that she performs Willow with her dancers is that they all put on these cloaks, these like velvet cloaks, and they all have these orbs, these like lit up orange orbs, and they're like tossing them, and they're in circles, and they're like a coven around and dancing around, and it kind of blew up on TikTok with people being like, Taylor, these like evangelical Christians being like, Taylor is performing witchcraft on stage at the Eras tour. Like, all of you that are going, she's summoning demons, and it got really insane.
Yeah, I'd like to see that whole summoning demons thing.
Yeah. And so, like, we have moved past, like, I feel like we have moved the image of the witch forward as time has gone on, but there's still plenty of people holding on to the evil witch.
Yeah. I mean, I love it that she embraced it.
Yeah.
That's a role you want me to take. All right. You know what? Got it.
Yeah. I love that monstrous femininity. I love that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, we're going to hear the song?
Yes. Okay, so
I've never heard the song, so
yes.
after applying that feminist theory, I kind of got anxious to hear it.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to listen. We'll watch the lyric video, which is the album version, and then I have pulled up just a fan video from the crowd of her performing at the Eras tour. So cool. We'll watch that too. Okay, and we can't play any of this really unless we have some reactions. We can cut around, but we'll mostly just listen, and then we'll come back with thoughts. Okay. Thoughts.
Okay. I didn't connect the rhyme at the end of the first verse and second verse, sad and bad. Which is nice. A lot of internal rhyme in this poem, and she handles it well.
I feel like she does that a lot.
And it doesn't, it doesn't feel false or misused. But I love the turn from you don't get to tell me about sad, and you don't get to tell me you feel bad, right? So that was fun. I liked the way she said the word just. If you wanted me dead, you should have just said, right? It goes up. And then, of course, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, where she almost screams.
The screaming one, at the beginning. Love it.
Yeah, that's cool. I liked the, so tell me everything is not about me, but what if it is? And then you have three whole steps down, boom, boom, boom,
Did you notice on that, I hadn't noticed this before, but on that lyric video, when it's doing those boom, boom, booms, all the other words fall away, but where she's saying, but what if it is? And then everything else falls away, and then it just says, it is. And then the same thing she did they didn't do it to hurt me, but what if they did? And then everything else fell away, and they did. Was just left there.
That's fun.
That was fun. I've never even noticed that before.
There you go. Close reading.
Yeah. I do want to, before we watch the performance.
Oh, the Eras tour.
This is what Taylor said about the song.
Okay.
She said, I felt bitter about just all the things we do to our artists as a society and as a culture. There's a lot about this particular concept on the Tortured Poets department. What do we do to our writers and our artists and our creatives? We put them through hell. We watch what they create, then we judge it. We love to watch artists in pain, often to the point where I think sometimes as a society, we provoke that pain and we just watch what happens.
Okay. I mean, I can see why a contemporary artist would feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, as someone who reads a lot of dead poets, you know, one of the deals about writing is you write your work and it goes out there, and we don't always know what you were thinking or what you were feeling or how it applies to your life or what it meant to you, or, you know, we come to it as a new and modern reader. You know, again, if any of you have read the Odyssey, every time I read it, I find something new about my life in it. So, you know, I mean, I understand her perspective. I agree with her how we torture the creative writer.
Yeah.
But you know, especially with good reviews and bad reviews. I mean, you know, there've been a number of notorious writers whose works were poorly reviewed initially, and who later won a Nobel Prize.
Yeah, or like after they die, they're like, oh wait, actually this was good.
Right.
Or, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like, she's fine. She's living a great life, you know, but it's like you just have those moments where this feels like the worst thing that's ever happened, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so let's watch this performance. I will link to this in the description so other people can watch this exact performance as well.
Great.
This is from May 9th. This might have been the first or second time she ever performed this. I'm sorry that I know that. Okay. We'll be back.
The last shot of the eyeless witchy woman.
That was very monstrous femininity.
That is monstrous femininity. It is. And I like, you know, on those three whole step down, bum, 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 that she comes stepping, just stomping.
Yeah, throwing her
angrily.
hair.
Yeah. And of course the elevation, you know, when she's singing and then she's on a scaffolding and then she appears to come down to haunt them.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Just
Theatrically cool.
Levitating throughout the stage.
And I have to admit, I like it that she's in white, everyone's in white.
I was gonna say this is more of your woman in white, your white lady folklore.
Yeah, it's the woman in white.
Yeah.
Well, and an image of purity that conflicts or juxtaposes with her witchery, right?
Yeah.
So now, you know.
Yeah, because witches wear black.
Right, but no, you know, screw that. I'm that modern witch. I'm charmed. I'm powerful. I'm embracing it.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with that, you know what? I'll hex you.
Yeah. I always appreciate how she put it's like silly, but she's like talking about putting narcotics in her songs and she like sprinkles it on the stage.
Yeah, she is. Well, I love it. And the light comes up and I thought that was fun.
It's very cool. I am still holding out hope that the Eras Tour movie, which is what you saw the My Tears Ricochet performance from.
I'm sorry, there's an Eras Tour movie?
Yes.
Okay, I did not know.
But
I've got a lot to catch up with.
So the movie, obviously professionally filmed, that's what we watched, My Tears Ricochet.
Okay.
But she did that film came out before she added this set. So we do not have a high quality set, a high quality filming of this set, except we know that she did film it a couple of times. So I'm still holding out hope that like an extended version is coming out, and then we'll get like to be able to see all of that that's happening behind her and stuff, and what she's doing to her dancers.
Wow.
Yeah. Eras Tour movie. We gotta watch.
I can't do it till we're done with this.
Yeah, we gotta get through
this whole podcast because I'm trying to be pure. I'm wearing my white every time I pick up one of these, and I'm just trying to read it as a poem without being influenced by the theatrics of what I just saw.
Yeah, crazy. She's a theater kid at heart, and it shows on stage. Okay, so your grades for Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. So we have 5 criteria. We'll remind everyone, including ourselves. We have a lyrical strength, narrative and structure, production and atmosphere, lore and literary references, and emotional impact. Okay, so lyrical strength of Who's Afraid of Little Old Me.
Okay, so I'm glad we're doing this today and not after the first or second time I read it.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the poetics. I am. And so lyrical strength, sure, 96.
Ooh.
It's a high A.
Okay. Narrative and structure.
Okay, the unity of the animal imagery, the witch, the circus, it all worked. The first time she introduced circus, I thought that was a little off topic, but then I saw how she put it together. She returns to the witch house with the cobwebs. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say 97.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I
Okay.
know, I like this so much more than my first reading.
Production and atmosphere. So that could be for like anything we've seen here today.
Okay.
Or read
yeah,
or all of it.
I love seeing the concert. You know, I loved her performance. I would go to that performance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 97.
Oh
again.
my
I
goodness.
know.
This is your favorite song ever. Lore and literary references.
You know, I wish that she had infused a little bit more.
Yeah, there weren't as many things that you were pulling from in this one.
Yeah, I
like
felt,
books and poems and stuff.
Right. I felt like I was providing what she might have. You know, I mean, I've been to England, or I've been to New England, and I've visited supposed witches' homes or grottos, or matter of fact, on my shelf back here, I have water drawn from a witch's grotto.
Oh.
You know, so I mean, I thought it was still good. 91.
Okay. And emotional impact.
Okay, because I am married and I have daughters and granddaughters.
Yes.
And nieces.
Yes. A sister.
That's right. Well, yes, a sister. I hope she's not watching. I love my sister. You know, I do believe that our culture is hard on women, and navigating it in the feminine can be very difficult. So when I tossed aside my toxic masculinity and began to realize
You're the problem.
that I'm the problem, yeah, but it's so hard. It's hard, you know. That's
For sure.
that's the thing about it is, even an informed, but no, I mean, I do count myself as kind of an informed, forward-thinking
Absolutely.
person.
Yeah.
You know, I have to remember to do it, and so I was really humbled by my later reading of this poem. So I'm going to go back up to 97.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That gives us a 96.
Very strong, Taylor.
Pretty
good work.
good. That's our highest one yet.
Well, that was very strong work. I appreciated the song.
Okay, I love that. I'm so happy that you came around. Because I did think it would be fun to talk through it when you didn't like it. Like, I think that will be fun, because that is going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
One of these days, sometime.
Yeah, it actually would have been interesting to record that conversation and then this one.
Yeah, yeah. But I did think that would be interesting, but I do love that you like appreciate it, and you see the genius for what it is, you know.
Genius is, but it's well done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, is any other thoughts?
No, I'm very pleased that I managed to cast aside my
Yes,
predisposed initial reading, and maybe it is a lesson to us all to read closely several times.
Yeah.
You know, I always told students, get your pencil out and don't read it once. You know, read it once without the pencil, once with the pencil, read it again.
Yeah.
You know, the more often you read it, the more you see and understand, the more words you recognize.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good lesson for me to remember too.
Absolutely. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so on that note, we will be back with a different song next week. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, on YouTube. We also have an Instagram and TikTok. All of those are at Swiftie and Scholar Pod, and you can find me at Angela Wyatt on Instagram. Maybe I should change that to my new last name. I don't know. That's a different conversation. And you cannot follow Uncle Jerry anywhere unless you see his car driving down the road. Okay, we'll see you next week. Thank you. This was so fun.